Hey guys, welcome back to Law School 101. I'm Harsh, and today we'll be starting a brand new topic, that is data sufficiency. So, what are these? How to solve them? We shall do all of this in this very video. So, without wasting any further time, let's begin. So, this is one topic that you will see in many of the mock tests that you all will take. But in the main examination, this type of question has rarely been asked. I still think that this is a must do topic for everyone because one, that it is nothing new about it. It's just all those reasoning questions that we already did, but a novel method of asking the questions. So it is just revision in one way, and revision is always beneficial. So you can take it like that. Also, I think that they have a high probability of being asked next year. It's just a hunch of mine, but since it is a new type of questions and our exam likes to test new methods of judging their candidates, so they will pretty likely that they will ask them next year. So what it does, how is it different from other reasoning questions, is that it tests your ability to judge whether a given information is enough to solve a problem, but it does not ask you to solve it yourself. Although you can solve it to verify your answer, but it is not per se mandatory to solve the question. You just need to know whether this information is sufficient or not. So I have shared the format here. What happens is that you will be given two or more statements sometimes, and you have to decide whether the data are sufficient to answer the question or not. So random bit of information, but data is plural. The singular of data is datum, datum, and since it's plural, it is always followed by r. So just a grammar that I think you all should know. So option A says that if data in statement 1 alone are sufficient to answer the question, but 2 is not sufficient to answer the question. And B says that 2 alone can solve the problem, but 1 alone cannot. So opposite options. So if one option can, one statement can entirely solve the problem, but the second one cannot solve entirely the problem, and vice versa, those will be these options. And if they both can solve the question alone, then we pick up option number C. If they both taken even together cannot solve a question, then we will mark option number D. And if both the statements are needed to solve the question, then we pick option number E. So your exam will obviously not ask you 5 options, it will only give you 4. But since I had to include all the possibilities, so it took me 5 options. So that is the format. Now let's move on to the questions. Okay, so before solving the question, always, um, before me solving the question, always try solving it yourself. So the first question asks us, how is Suniti related to the man in the photograph? So there is a man in the photograph. How is this person called as Suniti related to it? So one says that man in the photograph is the only son of Suniti's grandfather. So after reading this, we can draw two cases here. Okay, either it will be like this. Okay, he has no brothers or sister, or maybe he has one sister who is the mother of Suniti, and the man will be the uncle of Suniti. So this statement is not sufficient to answer the question. Let's see if 2 can solve the question. The man in the photograph has no brother and sister, and his father is Suniti's grandfather. So This information already encapsulates all that is in the one, but it also helps us eliminate this case. So we are only left with this alternative. So will your answer be statement number option number B, that the data in statement 2 alone are sufficient to answer? The answer to that is no. The answer will be option number D, because you're not supposed to assume Suniti's gender. So Suniti can be the daughter of the man or it can be the son of the man. We cannot assume the gender of Suniti here. So our answer to this will be option number D, that is both are insufficient to answer the question. So that is how you need to be very aware and you know um, be careful of all the trickeries that the examiner might pull on you. Now we come to question number 2. How long does it take to reach city Y from city X? So let's read statement 1. Sangeeta was scheduled to leave the city at 17:15 hours, got late by 45 minutes and reached city Y at 6 and 15 minutes the next day. Now we can calculate the hours that is taking to reach the city by taking the leave time and adding subtracting no we add the time of 45 minutes with 17:15. So at 18:00 hours the Sangeeta left the city, and 6 and 15 minutes it reaches there. So if we subtract the difference of the hours, then we will get our answer. So it would be 12 hours 15 minutes. Okay, so although we can calculate, but we recommend calculating because we know that it's reaching at one time. There is a delay time as well, so we have to incorporate it, but we can obviously get the time it requires to reach city Y from city X without even going into the calculations. So you could basically just consider this as sufficient to answer without even picking up your pen. Similarly, option number 2, Sagita reached the bus stand at 12:14 dot 25 minutes and got the bus after waiting for 35 minutes, and she reached at 3 and 15 minutes the next day. So don't need to calculate. You just know that you are able to calculate it successfully. So it will obviously be uh, you know find you can find that how long does it take to reach city Y from city X. So answer will be C here, that both the statements alone can answer the question. Okay, so that is how you deal with them. You don't need to waste a lot of time calculating the number of hours. You just need to know if it is solvable or not. Okay, so let's move on. So this is a seating arrangement now. As I said, it can take almost any type of question that is asked in our reasoning and turn it into a data sufficiency question. So there are 5 people sitting around a circular table. Who among them is sitting on the immediate right of K? So if we read statement 1, J is sitting between M and D. We cannot use this statement right now. And D is sitting on the immediate right of N. We can use this. So we make a diagram like this. Since there are 5 people, there will be one odd person here. We can assume that N is here and D will be on the immediate right. Then we know that J is between M and D. So J will have to be here and M will have to be here. And the remaining person, that is K, will obviously have to be here. Now we know who sits to the immediate right of K, right? It's N. So we can solve this um, without consulting statement number 2. So let's try statement number 2 as well. It can be the second alternative. So j is second to the left of k and second to the right of n. So j is second to the left of k and second to the right of n. So n will be here, then only j will be second to the right of n. So as I discussed in the puzzles chapter, this statement is read as j is second to the left of k and j is second to the right of n. So j will have to be second to the right of n like this. So both the statements can help us tell independently who is sitting to the immediate right of k. Here also we know n is sitting to the immediate right of k. We don't need to calculate who sits here. We just need to know who sits to the immediate right of k. So again our answer becomes option number C, that both alone are sufficient to answer the question. Now let's move on to question number 4. It says that in a row of 28 girls and boys, the hell, how many boys are there to the left of Sridhar? Okay, so we read statement 1. If Sridhar is placed after 2 places to the right, then he becomes 12th from the right. Okay, no need to calculate anything yet. Only every third child in the row is a girl. So every third child in the row is a girl, and we know that Sridhar sits on, let's say, any place. We know his place, we know who sits um, with him and after him. Then it is all obviously possible to calculate how many boys are there to the left of Sridhar, because we know that every third child is a girl and we know how many people will be sitting on his left and how many of them will be girls. So no need to delve into calculation. Just by reading this we know that both these statements are obviously required to answer our question. So here our answer will become E. No need to, as I said again, to waste time calculating the answer. These questions can be a boon or a bane in that way. Okay, so now we have come to the end of our slide. I hope you guys learned something new about data sufficiency. Follow Law School 101 on Instagram if you have one, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to get timely reminders on our new videos. We'll meet again in the next video, and most importantly, take care of yourself. Peace.